Okay, we are live and on the air. This is RJ Carter for criticalblast.com, and today I'm taking a look at a pair of graphic novels, volumes 1 and 2 of Destiny, New York by Pat Shand. This is an interesting concept that is a magical world, but it's New York City and it's our world. Basically, the premise is that there's a university called Destiny University, and it is for students who have had a prophecy about their life. These are children and teenagers and near adults, the young adults, who have been prophesied to they're going to do this or they're going to do that, or they will slay this evil or they will eliminate that evil. And they're trained on how to do this and how to cope with their prophecies and what to do with their life after their prophecies have been fulfilled, because that's a very important thing. If you've been destined to do something and you've done it, well, what do you do after that? What's the point in your life after that? There's a lot to like in it, and there's a lot to basically criticize as well. So we're going to dig into that. And this is the first time I'm going to try screen sharing. So we'll see how that works out here, because I want to show you some of the artwork in this. This is, I'm going to share the entire screen and present to everyone. So let's see how this works. All right, minimize that down. This is the cover to the first version of this, and this is by Pat Shand and Manuel Praetano, and it's got a really crisp, clean look to it. And it follows basically this character here, Logan, who had a prophecy that she was going to remove untouched death, whatever that meant. The problem is that she fulfilled that particular prophecy when she was 12 years old. So her story is, as far as she knows, over. She's just basically getting by as a young adult now and trying to figure out what to do with her life. Well, along the way, her girlfriend from high school puts on Facebook that she's getting married to some guy, and Logan, this blonde girl here with the two, I don't know if they're tattoo dots or if they're just birthmarks, but they make little teardrops under her eyes. She's not taking it very well. And I really like the art style here. When we get in her head, it gets a little chibi-esque, but I'm fine with that for thought balloons. But the detail in the backgrounds and the clean line art here is just really something I can get into. Now here we meet the character of Lilith. Now Lilith is obviously a little bit more punk, a little bit more rough and tumble. They're going to become lovers. In fact, that's the thing in Destiny, New York, is that it's like a Pearl Jam song. Everyone is gay. There are very few straight people in here, and they're probably gay too. Nevertheless, that's just sort of the audience that this is going toward. And as Logan and Lilith become a couple, they deal with the fact that Logan's best friend, Gia, whom is also gay and who Logan has been with on that level, Gia has a prophecy about her life that she's going to kill the most ancient of evils. And this is her seer who has made this prophecy. There's a cast, I guess. You can always tell a seer because they've got the blackened out eyes. They can't really, they're not blind, but they can still, their eyes look like that just to show that they're seeing other stuff. What he doesn't see is that she's gay, because he thinks that they can have a future together, and he has to be told later on. But they're friends. There we get some, there's a lot of sex scenes in here, but they're always going to be tastefully covered. This is not this is not fat material. This is, just relationship material, and sex is a part of those relationships. Anyway, Gia's ultimate evil that she has to kill gets a name in this issue. So now she suddenly goes from having a vague prophecy to having a literal, um, now I know what I have to do and it's time to do it kind of prophecy. And it flies completely counter to Logan's relationship with Lilith. And that's because Lilith has an evil sister named Song who is manipulating events to get rid of Lilith uh, for reasons that basically boil down to the fact that Song is psychotic and sociopathic and just an all-around bad person. It's a slow-moving kind of story, but at the same time, it draws your interest the whole time through because it's a slow-building relationship. And oh, there we go. There's Song. She kind of looks like an evil bitch, which is perfect because that's kind of character she portrays. And this is shortly after the seer bumps into her, and he has this sudden vision. And he names the greatest evil that G is going to have to eliminate, and it's Lilith. Well, it's not Lilith, but how could a seer be wrong? A seer is not wrong, and this gets verified by the university and by the government, so that there is a license for Gia to go after this evil and murder it legally. That's the whole nutshell plot of Destiny New York #1, and how we're going to see Logan come out of this and have a happy ending with her new relationship. And it was a good read. That's version 1, volume 1. The second volume is out now. It's coming out. Destiny New York. The first one was Who I Was, and this one was Who I Am Now. And right away, there is a difference. First of all, we don't have the same illustrator. This one is illustrated by Rosie Campe. And you don't really get it because these illustrations so far that you're seeing here in the beginning are still done by Manuel Praetano, because he does the chapter breaks. And this is old Manuel artwork. So when you start this first chapter break, you're like, okay, yeah, we're back into the world of Destiny New York. And then we hit the little deaths. I know what that word means. And then we hit the actual artwork. Well, this is Logan in the dream world, this blue world that she's been allowed to enter since she fulfilled her prophecy. But even right away here, you can see that there's a definite breakdown in not necessarily the quality, but it's definitely a different style of artwork. And I would expect it to be kind of stylistically different here in a dream like this, because things do get stretched out and twisted. But then we're back into real world. Now, let me just put these side by side here. Not side by side, but I'm going to flip back and forth just a little bit, just to show you some of the quality changes. Okay, we'll go with here. We've got this as Logan before, and this is Logan after. That's Praetano there. That's a chapter break. But then we end up with these it's almost like, yeah, there we go. That's Logan now. These look like rough sketches. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't, the story continues on, and it's still more relationship building and relationship destruction with Logan and Lilith. But it's much easier to enjoy that story when the artwork looks like this than when the artwork looks like that. This is not, that's not what I signed up for. So, the characters all return from the first volume to the second volume, and it looks like the way it ends with the cliffhanger is definitely going to be a third volume where we'll see whether or not Lilith and Logan remain together as a couple. Some of Song's After effects are happening in the second version of this graphic novel. Definitely her hench persons are involved. Um, and even Logan's old girlfriend from high school is back into this. So we'll stop the screen sharing now. So it's a situation where you've got this really, really good introductory story. And then, even though you've got the same writer telling the same quality story, you've changed artists, and it looks like it looks more rushed. It doesn't look like the same amount of time was taken putting into telling the story in graphic novel form. Um, you've set up an expectation of quality with that first volume, and you're not meeting it with the second volume, and that's a huge mistake in marketing. Um, if you're telling an overall overarching thing and you plan to tell it in multiple graphic novels, you try to commit that same artist to do the whole thing, and rather than switch back and forth. It's just, it's unsettling. It's jarring. It's jarring is what it is, because it takes you out of the story when you realize this is not. It's not as good. Plain and simple, the second volume is not as good as the first, because a graphic novel is more than just the text that tells the story. It's the story and the artwork together. So you have to have both being high quality. Pat Shan's a great writer. He does a lot. He's done a lot of work with Zenescope. I think he still is writing some of the Robin Hood stuff. But you got to have the eyeballs attracted to the artwork on the page. And Destiny New York version volume 2 loses the eyeballs. They slide right off the page because you don't want to look at it. For criticalblast.com, I'm RJ Carter. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Hit the bell for notifications, and do notice in our description the ways that you can help support our channel. We are in the middle of a crisis move at the moment here, where we have a end of March deadline, so we are pushing the anthology Gods and Services, which is available on Amazon. We also have some exclusive designs in our TeePublic store, the link which is below. And if you find that you don't want to buy anything to read or buy anything to wear, but you still want to support our channel, we have finally established a GoFundMe account. The link for that is also down below. Thank you for coming.